Want to start your own nursery but not sure how to put everything together? Maybe you're struggling to create your business plan. Then you've come to the right place. Starting a nursery business is not for everyone. I've successfully supported numerous people to start opening their own nursery. If you're not ready to put in the hard work and time, or you think there's some shortcut to opening your own nursery, then stop watching now. I've personally had to turn away quite a few people that think opening nursery is going to be easy and don't want to follow the steps needed in order to open. Fortunately, having gone through the process many times, opening many different nurseries for myself and for loads of other people, I have managed to make the steps to open as simple as possible and have put it all together in a guide which I'll talk to you about at the end of the video. But even though I've made it simple, you still have to go through the process. There may be parts of the process that you do find harder, which is where the one-to-one support which I offer comes in handy. But trying to skip any of the steps will only cause problems down the line. And creating your nursery budget is not a step you should skip. Welcome to the channel How to Open a Nursery with myself, Kurt Liania, where I support you to run, open and grow your nursery. In today's video, we are going over how to open a nursery in creating your budgeting plan. This is so crucial as many people, especially if you've not run a business before, do not know how to create a budgeting plan. Though before we get into the nitty-gritty of the video, do the usual YouTube stuff. Make sure you've subscribed if it's your first time here. If you aren't new here, I'm assuming you've subscribed already. And if you haven't, do quickly do it now. And don't forget, if at any point you're enjoying the video or you found it useful, hit that like button. I'm confident you're going to find value in this video, so if I was you, I'd make sure you hover over that like button so when you do get to that moment, you're ready to hit it. In this video, we'll be going over the key things you need to consider when creating your budget. Starting with the most important thing, which is to understand your numbers. It is essential to understand your numbers before starting your business. You must understand and determine how you'll generate revenue in order to be profitable. So you need to start thinking about how much you will charge, how much everything will cost, and start looking at your competitors, figuring out how much they charge and how large they are. This is just to get an understanding of the numbers involved with running your nursery and how much you could potentially make. This includes understanding how you get paid. For example, are you going to pay monthly? How are your fees worked out? And all things like that. Once you've got a broad understanding of your numbers, you should then start working at your startup costs. Working at your startup costs is important as this is how much you will need to put in before you start making money back. You don't want to get into a position whereby you spend more money than you have before you've even started. I'm thinking about doing a video about how much I actually spent starting up my first nursery, which was in my house. If this is something you would want, let me know in the comment section. If I get a few comments about it, then I'll do a video about it in one of my next videos. But starting a nursery can be an exciting and fulfilling venture. However, it's important to ensure that you understand the costs involved in starting up to ensure that you actually make it to your opening. The startup costs can vary widely depending on your location and the size of your business. For example, if you're starting your nursery from home, then your startup costs will be a lot less than if you started in a dedicated building. Figuring out your startup costs will give you a better picture of your business and is essential if you're trying to get a loan to help you start up. For a nursery, the typical startup costs will include the equipment that you need to set up your classroom, your staff room and other areas, acquiring permits like your offset registration or similar in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, paying other fees like your insurance, potentially modifying your building, your marketing costs, your recruitment costs, plus others that may be more specific to your building and your nursery. If you are planning to set up the nursery from scratch, there may be structural changes that you need to do to the building, for example installing smaller toilets, or installing other safety features, or building a fence for your garden. All these expenses need to be accounted for and recorded in your startup budget. This is just to ensure, as I said, that you have enough funds to launch your business. Underestimating your startup costs can put a major strain on your business and ultimately hinder its success. That's why generally it's better to overestimate. Once you've worked out your startup costs and how you will afford this, you can then start on your budgeting plan. You usually do a budgeting plan or forecast for the first few years of your nursery opening. It helps to show whether your nursery will be profitable and when. It has three main parts that you need to consider when planning: your revenue, your expenses and your profit. The first part, your revenue, involves understanding the pricing strategy for your nursery and childcare business. You need to work out and understand the best price to charge per child and how many children you need to enroll in order to reach your revenue goals. This step requires careful research and analysis to your competitors and of your market as a whole. The second part is your expenses. You need to make this as realistic as possible. Some of the expenses you might not know at the beginning. So for example, you might not know how much your rent is going to be, but you can get an estimate by seeing how much rents are generally in your area. Your biggest expenses will be your staffing costs, your rent and utilities, and marketing. Your startup costs can also be included in this. So for example, any changes that you make into your building and any equipment that you need to buy. The final part is your profit. Your profit is worked out by simply minusing your expenses from your revenue and is usually worked out monthly or yearly. If after working out your budgeting plan, you realize your profit is less than you expected, or maybe it's even negative, you then have to reevaluate. Can you charge more or offer more places, or can you adjust your expenses in order to reduce your costs? This is why your budgeting plan is so important. You don't want to start your nursery and then realize afterwards that you're not making any money. Your plan will show you this. It is important when creating your budgeting plan that it is linked to your company's goals and objectives too. One bit of advice when you're doing all of this and creating your budgeting plan is to do it on Excel. Doing it on a piece of paper is good for notes, but an Excel spreadsheet has so much that can support you in other ways. It provides an organized and efficient way of tracking your expenses and your revenue, and ultimately helps you to manage your finances. You're less likely to get mistakes on additions, and any mistakes that you do make can be corrected very easily. Plus, it has many features that can make it easier for you to use. So for example, you can sort different rows, you can create tables easily, plus many more. All of this will then help feed onto your business plan. And if you want a free business plan template geared towards Open Nursery, then click the business plan link in the description. It will take you to a simple guide that will show you how to create a business plan and what stuff to include in it. Simply scroll to the middle of the page where you can download your free business plan template. Other things you'll need to consider when opening your nursery and creating your business plan is to decide on your business type structure. Will you be a sole trader, which means you're an individual running your nursery? Will you set up as a partnership, or will you be a company? You also need to choose your nursery name. You should try to come up with a unique name that really showcases what you plan to offer. You also need to do other things like registering your business, hiring staff, ensure your compliance, and get certain permits and licenses. As I said, starting a nursery can be such a rewarding and fulfilling venture, but it requires careful planning in order to make it a success. If you want most of the planning done for you and you want support along the process, then as I said earlier, I have a step-by-step guide showing you every little thing that you need to do in order to open your own nursery. It starts off by doing this: planning. Planning your budget, planning your business plan, and just putting your finances together. It then takes you on a journey which ends with you owning your own nursery. It is the most complete guide showing you how to open your own nursery available in the UK. You get access to important documents that you need to open, links to places where you need to open, as well as some example documents to help you fill stuff in. I also include tips that help you to save money opening, tips that I've learned from helping so many people open their own nursery. So if you want to open your own nursery with confidence and without spending as much as you probably would have if you'd done it alone, then click the link in the description to enroll on the course Open a Nursery in just 6 months without a massive budget. The way I see it, you have 3 options right now. Do nothing. This is probably what most of you will do. You will leave this video and just think about it. You will think about opening your own nursery. You will think about what could be, but never actually achieve your dream of owning your own childcare business. There may be others that will actually act on this and decide to do it on their own, which I actually applaud, but you don't have to do it alone. When I started, I had to. There wasn't really any other options except go down the franchising route, which is so expensive and takes away a lot of the control of your business. So when I started, I done it without support, and although I was able to open my own nursery, it took me years to be successful, and there were a lot of tears, struggles and failures along the way. In 1 year alone, I lost over £100,000, which if I had support would have been avoidable. You will likely face similar situations, which is why the best option is to do it with guidance, a mentor and a community behind you. This is by far the wisest choice, and I wish I had this option when I started. There was no course that could have supported me. If there was, I know I could have gone a lot further and a lot faster than what I have. And this is why I created this course, to help people like myself and you, people who don't already have support or somebody who's done something like this or something similar. I personally feel honoured to have been able to help so many people to achieve their dreams and open their own nursery. And I'll be honoured to be able to support you too. So simply click the link in the description to enrol. Plus, get an extra 10% off the course using code YouTube1. God bless, and I look forward to supporting you.